Hello, everybody. It's been some time. Hello, hello. Um, my voice, you could probably still hear. It took a while. Something's been going on, but I'm here. Um, yeah. So we're gonna paint. Um, I got my materials. I hope you're gathering your materials. You have your materials in front of you. So I have some watercolor paper. I got two sheets. So I want everybody to see if they can acquire two sheets. But um, my watercolor paints, my brush, and my waters. That's all you need. So we're gonna do kind of two paintings, very different from each other, um, and then hopefully you get two pieces of paper. Either 8.5 by 11 or 9 by 12. But you see, I have one here on the table and I have one here in my hand. Um, I'm gonna take one, and you're gonna take one. And if you have one, and we're gonna cut it in half because we're gonna do two paintings. You could either do the two paintings on the same sheet of paper before cutting it, but if you could cut it and there's scissors around, that would be great. I'm gonna cut it just for to avoid accidents and things like that. It's not really to compare the painting from each other, you know. It's not really that what we're trying to do. That's why I'm cutting it. Um, so now I got two pieces of paper. And actually, yeah, the paintings are gonna be horizontal landscape, so we could even focus the camera even a little more. That's great. But I'll have the other sheet of paper close by because there we could do um, let's see, there we could do testing or some practice if we need to. Okay, so my we'll do paintings here, and then we'll have this on the side. Awesome. All right, ready? So I don't have to hold both papers at the same time. I'm gonna put one paper to the side. Oh yeah, and you should have paper towels or napkins. I got some napkins here. It's always good to have napkins close by because you can dry your brush when you clean it. You could take some excess of the water that the brush carries. There's a lot of things you can do. Um, all right, I'm ready. So we're gonna do something very less outline. Um, you know, and then we're gonna do something that's a little more outline and kind of not wild, but a little more dramatic. And I'll talk a little bit about why. and what that means. Okay, so let's get started with the. Let's see. Let's get started with the gentle one. Kind of not gentle, but softer, which is actually what we be mostly doing. You know. So this is going to be very simple. Since we're not using pencil to define what we're going to do, and you're faced with a blank sheet of paper. Um, Before we get started, we have to visualize what we're going to do. So I'm going to tell you. Okay, it's going to be very simple. The top is the sky, the bottom is the ground. We're going to separate half the paper, literally, sky and ground, maybe a tree, and some broad bushes or things in the ground. And that's it. We're going to enrich it with color to make create volume and differences in the ground to make it interesting. So it's not just green. And that will be our painting. Same thing with the sky. Remember, yes, there's blue, but playing with the blue and the white of the paper, we always have been creating that effect of the maybe clouds or the sky. So that's it. Simple. We'll talk about the other one in a moment. So always remember something you could practice on. I'm gonna do it once we're done with this painting. Um, but grab your let's see. I'm gonna define with green, just a little bit of green, the metal that I just told you. You see that line? I don't know if you can see it. That was just to define the distinction between the ground and the sky. So actually, I could actually put a little bit of kind of yellowish. See that it's very light. I did a little bit of green and now I'm doing a little bit of yellow. I put down the color and then spread it with my water. Okay, maybe I need a little bit more green to raise this here. You see the different tones, yellow, already green. We're gonna add more in a little bit. I just wanted to define this and I'll explain you why. Because now we're gonna do the sky, okay? And um not always. This is not something I just want you to, not always, but what I'm gonna say next is a commonality is that when you play around with the blue of the sky and the white of the clouds, usually the area closer to the ground, to the horizon, is light, So it's not that it has clouds on it, but it has white or more clear colors. And then the blue of the sky is above with clouds and everything. So the fact that I was going to leave a lot of the paper white in this part where it meets the horizon, I had to create the horizon first, just so you could see it, right? I didn't want to start making the sky and there's no definition down here yet. And you cannot visualize or picture that the ground is down here. So that's why I started with the ground to define the horizon, which is the horizon is this line here. You have heard me talking about it a lot. And it's very important because the horizon, um, as the viewer that we are, and we're creating the illusion of this image, the horizon let us know from what point of view are we looking at the painting. Are we looking at it from very way high? Are we looking at it from a little more below? You know. All right, let's do the sky then. I cleaning my brush. I grab my blue. Remember, it's going to be in some areas, leaving a lot of the white of the paper around, and also the bottom. The bottom meaning the part where it comes closer to the horizon. So if I put blue here, I kind of spread it. It's very simple. I connect here. I don't know. But I may not connect in some other areas. See how we created a sky that's kind of has clouds or things around. perfect. It's just a mess of blue, but um, leaving the white around. So here I could mix this a little better, I guess. All right. Now we clean our brush. Okay. Clean your brush really well. Now we're gonna add maybe some darker tones of greens here and there. But here's the key to keep it simple. I said I was gonna do a very simple painting. When we add that, we're gonna keep it in horizontal lines, okay, that are not complete. They're not gonna go like the horizon from this end to this other end. They may go from here to here, from here to here, okay, but we're gonna keep it horizontal. And what that does, like the planes that I always mention, planes meaning areas, like a plane, an area that you visualize in the perspective, those by being horizontal kind of ground us. Okay, just remember that ground us. While the sky, if you notice, is kind of like a very all over the place, and that puts everything in the air. Um, okay, I'll fix a little bit of the blue in the sky that I see we could fix. Um, but let's get some green. There's yellow already, and look, make a line like this, a line like this, and kind of like blend it in. You see these lines kind of ground us a little better. Now, some of them, even though they're horizontal, check this out, even though they're horizontal like this, they'll have some effect of little lines coming up like this. Okay. Maybe something very close to us over here is all kind of green. And remember, one of the rules of perspective says that things that are closer to us are more darker and defined. So I'm making kind of grass effect, but I'm keeping that horizontal line. You see the horizontal line, but it still has this little edgy up and downs, very short, that kind of represents um, the grass that I was. that I've been talking about. Because my brush is almost dry, I'm doing them now, and maybe there's something really dark around here. I don't know, in the horizon line. But check this out. If I make bushes over in this end, kind of like, or over on this side, the way I'm doing them is I make sure that the surface is very random. You see that's touching the sky is look up, down, up. I just need more dark green. I know it's shining a lot, but I'm trying to get that shininess out of the light so you can see it better. But it goes all the way over here. And it's bumpy. This is very wet right now. But once it dries, I'll add more, maybe a little more. Um, Green, like dark green or dark blue to make the green here darker. That's what I'm trying to do right now. So you see how this bushes here now create a little more of interesting, and I'm adding more of the darkness of the blue that I just grabbed over here. Maybe, well, that's pretty dark. Yep. Let's see. This is a little painting that when I make sure it's focused, the camera, come on. Right about, I'll let you know when it does. There you go. It's a mess. The sky is very simply done, but you can see what we're trying to represent. But the fact that it's um, kind of subtle, the colors are not, are still watery. So the fact that when we made our colors, we do keep that amount of water there, um, makes it watercolor looking. We could add more yellow in some spots. So this is what I mean by adding spots of different colors in certain areas to make it more interesting. So this right here could be more yellow. You see, I added more yellow just in this spot, maybe on this spot, maybe on this spot. I don't know. you know. Same thing with the green. Maybe spot is a little more greenish. I don't know. Maybe this area is more green. And this area is more green. Let's put a lot more green right in the middle here. I don't know. You know, maybe a little more green in this area here. Maybe with the brown, a little tree coming up here. One, two, three. So I bend it. You see, I came up and I bend it through the little branches here. One up. That's our tree. Look. And because of that, I'm gonna actually darken in green what's under here. I know this area is kind of wet. This area in the painting is very wet, but we'll make it work. Maybe towards the back of the right here is a little darker. I did that with a little bit of more blue, okay, to darken. See, this area is more blue. All right. So if you notice, there's the tree, but the bottom of it is darker. It's a little darker. I added a little bit of blue. So I added, sorry, green down here and then a little more blue to the right of it. So it made the green darker blue. And now I'm gonna clean my brush and with blue, okay, just blue, actually not blue, water. I gotta fix some spots in the sky here because these patches of water, I want to eliminate them the way these blend in. Sorry, yep, there you go. All right. This is our painting. I'm gonna do the tree. I know it's not entirely focused. I apologize. It takes a little while. There you go to actually be focused. But this is how it looks when it's focused. You see, I'm gonna add some green to the tree, and that's it. I want to emphasize what I said earlier. It's exactly what we did, and it's what makes the painting interesting. And we've done something very similar to this. So I grabbed green to enrich the actual tree. And I'm gonna keep a shape that is like kind of like a candle, like up like this. But the center of it is darker green, So I add that blue. Just the center. It's very wet, everybody. This is very wet, so that's why it's giving me kind of like a hard time. But this is it. Yeah. That's it. This is our painting. See? This is our painting. Um, I know it's out of focus again, but I'm gonna go by sections and go over what we did. And you could always in this video pause or go back, but I try to keep it as simple as possible. It looks a little more complicated, but it's not. Especially the grass, the fact that we made the grass kind of edgy like that, but we kept those horizontal lines. And you could always add more um, darker green in some areas. You know, that's it. Let's show you closer. So we started with the. Let me show you first the sky. Start here and it's focus. Oops. See, and it moves to this side, and it's just basically mixing the blue and leaving some areas that are white, so we could always make sure we create that effect of the clouds. From the bottom right also, which we did first actually, um, in yellow, it was kind of like a greenish, and then added a little bit of yellow, the ground, and then we added horizontal lines of green that we blended, and we made those edgy lines going up. Look at them here, and represents grass. We did them down here too, darker, closer to us. And actually, I could probably spread that out a little more. Let's see. All right. So this is our. It focused there for a second. That's great. So here you could probably pause or because it's focused right now. It's focused at this distance. No, it's not. Hmm. Let's see. I'll let you know when it is. I believe now it is. There it is. And you can pause it or take a picture right here. And it'd be great to kind of look at the image to try to kind of replicate it if you want to replicate it, you know. Okay. Awesome. 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 All right. So the next one is a little more, it's also simple, but in a different way. The next painting, I mean. Let's see. So I get my piece of paper, the other half of the paper, and I'll show you at the end both compare and what I mean by not defining things. You see how clear this is. This next one is kind of like an illustration, and it's in the style where we're going to use wild colors. And in French, a wild animal is fauve. So the movement at the beginning of the 20th century, 1900s, it was called fauvism. And a young, well, not that young, but a young Matisse in his career was part of the group with other artists. Bragg, which was a good friend of Picasso, for Cubism. I think at some point did a little bit of Fauvism too, and basically means the colors were very bright, very wild. Basically, it's the word wild. You know? So it was very challenging, not challenging, but it was shocking at the time. Um, and you see what that means. Things seem to be more outlined, and in that outline, the what encages the images is wild colors. Let's see. We could actually do kind of like the same type of image. So let's see. Um, I'm gonna use blue, very light. Well, not light, but I'll use blue to kind of draw with the brush. We're gonna draw with the brush the things that we're gonna have in our painting, and I'm very confident to do this way because that outline that I keep talking about that's gonna define things is very illustrative and it's also very thick. The line is very thick, so that's why I feel confident to use the brush for this. So we're gonna have the sky up there. We're gonna have some mountains, but check it out. Look, my mountain goes here, comes down, right? Another mountain went here, another one maybe over here, maybe another one here. I don't know. We're going as it, we're going with the flow. But you see how my blue is defining the outline of the things we're gonna paint. It's like drawing with the brush, and I'm confident again to do this because I know the line can be very thick. So let's do a couple of trees around here. So maybe a tree here, and the tree is like this ball. Maybe a few trees here, smaller, a ball, another ball, another ball here, and they have a trunk. You see? And there's a line here of a mountain too. This has a trunk too. Maybe some of the trees are like pine trees that go up, so they go up like this. And there's a second one here, smaller. Maybe a pine tree goes here. Two. There, one here. I don't know. I'm doing more mountains where the trees are. See? Maybe another pine tree here, right at the edge. Maybe a few trees over here, circles. Maybe the ground here has like a garden, lines like this. See, like this. All right, so this is our image that we're gonna now add wild colors to it. And this is the outline that I was talking to you about that we're gonna use to find things. The outline. Okay. Let's see. So now we color them. Kind of not like a coloring book, but we're going to use colors that are very bright. So the sky, look at the blue of the sky. In all these wild colors, there was an emphasis towards kind of like warm colors, like red, orange. I guess those colors make the paintings even more wild. Um, but it's as simple as this. So you see how I'm painting the sky blue, and in this blue, um, there's somewhat different tonalities, but it's the same blue. I'm kind of keeping the same blue all over the place. You know, I fill the top blue. And by the way, these outlines we did blue to draw, we're more likely gonna darken them. So I might use purple or some darker colors towards the end to even define them more. Um, let's see, maybe one mountain has a little bit of blue, like this one. Maybe blue comes out of it and it becomes green. Maybe I'm cleaning my brush. Maybe this entire mountain here is yellow. Maybe there's more yellow down here. And in that yellow, towards this end, it mixes into kind of orangey. Let's see. just towards the end down here, the yellow becomes orangey. See? And that same orangey maybe here in this mountain. But that orangey that is in this mountain could turn into kind of reddish at some point. So let's see, where does it turn reddish? Maybe it turns reddish towards here. Oh, it's very wet. This is why it's very good to have a t-shirt close by. This part turns reddish. Maybe this line is reddish. When you do very dark, well, colors that are darker in tone, like red, purple, make sure you add a tiny little bit of water so we could actually see the color. Maybe this pine tree is all red. The one next to it is kind of purplish. Maybe one of them is green. Actually, one of the trees is green. And this one is green too, the pine tree. Maybe these guys up here are orange, like light orange, a few of them. And this one is actually reddish. There's green, maybe, in one of these. And in that green, there's a green. That might be yellow. Let's see. That has some yellow in it. So I'm going to do another one over here. That turns down here into yellow. More yellow. I want more yellow. Things are becoming too dark. So yellow is going to brighten things up a little. So this yellow comes from a transformation to this orangey area. You see how from orange it turned into yellow? Orange has yellow. There you go. So I'm going to do that here too. I'm going to maybe do this huge mountain that's over here. A mixture between orange turning into yellow. All right. So we have the orange and it's going to turn down here into yellow. Watch. I'm going to transform it into yellow. Yellow is down here. It's to light things up a little. So I'm using colors that are a little more lighter so we could see the image a little better. That's all. Okay. See how our painting is getting interesting. So maybe blue and green also makes a good mixture. So maybe this is blue and it turns into green. You know what could be blue too? This tree. This whole tree could be blue. The trunks I haven't been too worried about because this tree here could be also blue because I'm going to darken them. And like I said, the lines that we did at first, sorry, um, we're going to make them darker by make them a little more purplish. But that blue can turn into greenish. Maybe just like a pink or light red in this one here. This has yellow, maybe. Let's see. Pure yellow. And maybe this has like a brownish, like a light brown. All right, I can wait to darken these lines, guys, to eliminate the distinction of the blue. Okay, so maybe this is brown, very light brown, what I have right now, and it's to just diversify the colors. Maybe it's this tree back here. Maybe it's the inside of this one also. Maybe it's the circle, sorry, the green in this tree. That's it. Maybe red, very red trunk here. All right, so now I'm gonna grab. I know you see a lot of blue, but in some areas I'll leave that blue actually, to be honest. But in others, I will more likely go over in purple, which is a little darker, and yeah, define these outlines a little better. So we see basically we see the sky, we see fields, right? We see mountains, we see pine trees, trees, but you can tell everything is a little more extreme actually in rich colors, um, that really pop out, um, and are kind of wild. So look, if I darken these lines, how things even look wilder. The blue at first was to make sure that we were gentle with defining this, but now, um, look, if I define what we already have defined, and in some areas I'll leave the blue, but you see how it becomes even wilder? So that was the effect they were trying to cause back then, for people to really be shocked. Okay, we're just going over that line again, that's all. And when we go over it, we're being very conscious. In here, I'm doing the whole trunk of the tree in this purple. When we go over the outline, we're making sure to kind of leave also some of the, basically not make the entire thing the same tone of the purple. Most of it will be, yes, very dark purple, but some areas will have um, a softer effect, just to diversify what we're trying to do. That's all. You see, I know it's shiny there, but you get what I'm saying. Look, see, I'll show you without the shininess of the light reflected, sorry, in the video. So I apologize for that for now. But the difference in the paintings is extreme. And when this came to be at the time, we know Van Gogh did not paint it like this, right? We know Gauguin did not paint it like this. But this comes from that. It's an extreme interpretation, I guess, of Van Gogh and Gauguin. Um, which their colors were very expressive. That's called expressionism. Started with them, and post impressionism. So post impressionism carries Gauguin, Van Gogh, and they use color. You know, somebody's skin could be orange, and it expresses an emotion. I'm not, you know, it's how they perceive things then. So it's a lot more about the, it's always, art has always been about the artist. Okay, it's not the subject you're painting. It tells more about the artist that did it. But in this case, it's very easy to say that they're prioritizing the artist by them choosing the color they wish to represent an idea or a feeling. So if someone is jacket, I don't know, if the sky is brown this time for a reason, it represents an emotion. So here's the painting. Um, I know the purple is very highlighted. Let me show you kind of like without the shininess. But and I gotta say that in the camera the colors are more lighter. In front of me, I see, especially down here, I do see the purple. So this is very purple. It's not kind of pink. And the blending from the orange to the yellow, and maybe I could maybe here put a little bit of red. Let's see. As the orange turns into the yellow, it also above here could turn into a little more reddish. So maybe up here the orange is more reddish, you see? Oh, see. Adding a little more blue here. So two very different paintings. One was obviously visually is more accept. It's not accepted, but it's more softer to our eyes. This one we did first, and then this second one is more stylish and expressive, and represents the wild, right? It's like a wild animal. Um, that's why it was called fauvism at the time. But here's them both together. Uh, so you can see them completely in the same shot. Um, Sometimes I have always said, I don't know if I'll come ready for next time to put behind the painting a black background, and it makes us see it a little better. So if I do this to our first painting, see, so more likely you're gonna see it better. This one, if I put it like right. There is focus. You see, there's no outlines. Things are defined by the brush, the way we painted them. But I just want to really uh, emphasize when you paint things, the sky maybe not because it's very soft. Sky represents softness and transparency, just like kind of water. But the ground, when you add different tones of, you see the green is yellowish, it's more yellowish in some parts, it's more green in some other parts. That adds more reality to it. Okay. And I already said that the lines of green and the brush strokes that are side to side, which is called um, horizontal, grounds the painting more, right? Makes the feel looks more grounded. And actually, in reality, when you look at a field, you may more likely see streams like this going horizontally, or flowers or things, because that's how nature is. So this helps us visualize something that is more grounded. All right. You see, it's a little more soft. Well, it's how a painting we're used to look at. More soft. We didn't draw with pencil. Remember, um, we went with the brush straight. Here we drew first with the brush because we needed to know where things will be. But as you can see, there's a sky. We see the mountains. We see the trees. Things are very thickly outlined. First, we did them in blue when we drew it, and now with purple, which is darker. The camera is not giving credit. The colors are much brighter that I see in person. I'll show you this when I have the opportunity in person when I see some of you, most of you. But this it wasn't always like this. It was sometimes in some areas a little more loose the outline, but it's the style of kind of like early century. And again, these movements don't mean everybody was doing it like this. Okay, maybe there's three movements at the same time. You know, it's not like every single person, sorry, painter, um, at the turn of the century was doing everything this way. No, there was a group doing it like this, and from this also developed cubism and other things, and but it was a shocking thing to paint things this bright, this outline. It was wild, right? Very wild colors, very bright and wild colors. That's why it was called Fauvism. And Matisse, which we know, Matisse, we love his colorful paintings. When he was young, he was leading this group actually. So I'll leave you with this. Excuse me. Two small paintings. This is the first. You can sign it. And the other one too. And actually, if you kind of frame it a little, they'll look nice and very nice. Frame is like a dress for a painting. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. And uh, it was very quick, yes, but please, if you got this extra time, you could right now go back, especially and do in a moment like this, where I show the painting like this. You pause it right here, okay? You kind of pause it at this point to make sure you get like a static image of the painting and you can see it in detail. Or you could go back to something I did and and redo it or see how I did it. This actually, this style, and you could do anything. You could do, you could paint your cat, a cat. You could paint a flower, a house, in very wild colors and very thick outlines and very big paintings. The bigger paintings, this is very not enticing, appealing to look at. And again, remember the colors don't have to match reality. So if the house is painted light green, in the painting could be bright red. If someone, you know, so you're breaking the rules of the expectations. If an orange is right or color orange, this one is going to be blue, but another one could be orange. I don't know. It's not about matching reality. It's more about um, the emotions that the colors evoke on us by looking at the painting. Okay, so that's why I always wear very bright colors, so you could really create an impact, like a shocking impact on the viewer, and they will say, "This is wild." I keep saying that word, wild. So see if you could do this again. If I replicate a style of painting, try this one. Maybe a mug here. Watch, I'm gonna right now not paint it, but outline it. Maybe you want to do, and we finish with this. Um, you're looking at a table. And the table, excuse me, has a moth. And and this is the outline, and we're gonna fill it up with watercolors. And the table is here. I mean, this is me looking, and in the table there's other things, you know. Maybe there's a pen. Again, I'm first drawing it to then color it. Um, so here's the table. This is what I'm looking at. I don't know at your table, but this is what you're gonna try to do. And in the background there's a window. I don't know. And this could be a very big painting or things, and you fill it them with very wild and bright colors, you know. That's the idea. So you can make a painting in this style, more paintings. All right, I'll leave you with that. You don't have to do this. This was just and the fact that it's just, you know, it's just random. Nothing has to be like perfect. Adds to that wildness. Excuse me. Again, side by side. I hope you enjoyed today's project. Ah, all right. I'll leave it like that. This could be something you could carefully look at. See you soon and keep painting. I gotta say before I say goodbye, if things were a little too fast, you could see them again, or you could make the fact of just keep going back, right? I do something, you saw it, go back, watch it again, just that part. See the next one as you witness it, then go back, and in the next one, you hear and witness it as you do it. So the first 5 minutes is just to watch, or 10 minutes, watch how I did it. Because it's hard to do something. I did it as I was going, but you have to actually be looking at your painting also as you're looking at me. So first, maybe you look at the process and then go back very quickly, everybody, be in the same timing to go back and then actually do the painting part. So everybody, let's set, observe 5 minutes or 2 minutes, and then go back, and then same 5 minutes. Now let's get that done in the painting. You know, um, so these are very simple, but in the process of observing the video, I do agree that you may need to go back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. So you could observe the video, and then you could hear the same part as you actually doing the painting, and looking up for the second time if you need to look up. But the second time you hear it and are seeing the video is when you're actually doing your painting part. So, so again, I'm sorry if I was going too fast. Um, or observe. There's two paintings. Okay, this is another idea, right? So um, observe the first 20 minutes or something of the painting, you know, and then go back and start doing the painting. And if someone comes in a little later, they're observing the process, right? They're going to hear it again when they start painting, but play the first 15 minutes and then go back and play it again, and everybody gets to paint, but you already know what I'm about to do. Okay. Have a great day. And yeah, keep painting. Weather's awesome. Colors come out. Look outside. Sketch, draw. Be amazed by the bright warm colors of spring. Miss you all, and I hope seeing you all soon.